Good morning everyone. My name is Pushpalata. I am going to explain the types of tax. What is tax? Tax are considered to the cost living in a society. Tax are levied by the government to meet the common welfare expenditures of the society. There are two types of taxes. First one is direct and indirect tax. Direct tax, if the tax is levied directly on the income or wealth of person, then it is a direct tax. The persons who pay their tax to the government cannot recover in the form of somebody else. That is, the burden of an indirect tax cannot be shifted to income tax. Next one is indirect tax. If tax is levied on the price of goods and services, then it is an indirect tax. For example, goods and services tax called as GST, then customs duty. In this case of direct tax, there are persons paying the tax passes on the incidence of another person. There are two types of taxes. First one is direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax derived from two types. First one, income tax. Next one, tax on undisclosed foreign income and assets. Then indirect tax also derived in two types. First one is goods and services tax, that is called as GST. Then next one is customs duty. Why they are tax levied? The persons for life the tax to that continues to the basis of source of revenue to the government. Reserve for so raised the utilized for meeting of expenses or government like the defense, provisions or educations and healthcare infrastructure facilities like roads, etc. Next one is power of life tax. What is the power? The consistence of Indian in Article 265 lays down that the no tax shall be levied or collected exempt by authority of law. Accordingly, the levy of tax, the law needs to be framed by the government. Constitution of India gives the power of life and correct tax to be direct and indirect to the central or state government, the parliament or state light compared to that law of the matter ensure that the in 7 schedules by virtue of articles 246 of the constitutions of India. The 7th schedule to Article 246 consists 3 lists of instruments that matter, that including the Parliament and the state authority make them lays or propose lives tax. The following is listed. Overview of Indian tax in India. First one, components of Indian tax law. First one, Income Tax Act, Annual Financial Act, Income tax rules, circular notifications, legal decisions of courts. These are the 5 categories are classified into components of income tax law. Next one is important definitions. In order to under the provisions of the Act, one must have through the knowledge of the meaning of certain key terms like person. Person is called as a assessee, income, etc. Understand the meaning of these terms, we have first to check whether they are defined in the Act. The section 277, the assessee. The assessee means a person who a tax or any other such of money is payable to under the Act. First one, income tax of any other person in respect of which he is assembled or the laws sustained by him or by such other person, the amount refund due his or other under the previous this Act. Every persons who have deemed to be an assessee in defect under the any provisions for this Act. Next one is assessment, section 28. This is the procedure by which the income of an assessee is determined by the assessing officer. It be a way of normal assessment or by a received for the income provisions year assessment. Person, section 2(3), the definition of assessee lies as the definition of person. As the former is then closely connected to the latter. The term person is then important from another point of view, that is the changes of income tax in over every person. We may be briefly consider some of the above 7 categories of the assessee. Each will be consist of the separate unit assessment or a separate person. The person, the tax person is derived from 7 criteria: individual, HUF and company, firm, AOP or BOI, local authority and artificial journey person. These are the persons are selected in the individual tax. Then individual. The term individual means a nature person, that is called as human being. It is include the both make a female or male. The included minor or person is unsound mind, but the assessment in such a case may be made on the graduations or manager of the minor or latical. The person assessment should be made in the legal representative. Then HUF. Under the Income Tax Act 1961, Hindu undivided family is called as HUF, treated as a separate entity for the purpose of assessment. Co-parties are included in that. These are the points are included. Thank you for this session.